Players with the best and worst matchups in Week 12. Let's get it started. Quarterbacks with the best matchups in Week 12. Justin Herbert going up against the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are the third easiest matchup against the quarterback position. Fire up your Justin Herbert. Patrick Mahomes faces the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are terrible at football. Do I really need to say much more? If you're going to have an opportunity to score a lot of points, it's on the Panthers. Jared Goff versus the Colts. The Colts don't scare you. They allow the 7th most points against the quarterback position on the year when you adjust for schedule. I don't expect him to dominate like he did last week, but I do expect him to sling it. Bo Nix gets to go against the Raiders, who are terrible. And with that defense, Bo Nix should be in a good game script and good field position. I expect Bo Nix to sling it and get the job done. CJ Stroud also has a good matchup, especially with Snead out. Quarterbacks with the worst matchups in Week 12. Matthew Stafford going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are the toughest defense for quarterbacks on the year. This matchup makes me a little nervous. Next up, Sam Darnold going up against the Chicago Bears. Bears have been great against the quarterback position on the year. Sam Darnold won't be giving you a bunch of points on the ground, so you kind of need him to sling it to have a good game. I don't know if he's going to do that against the Chicago Bears. Bears should be good. Anthony Richardson has a tough matchup going up against the Detroit Lions. The 6th hardest matchup against the quarterback position. Unlike the other two guys on this list, Anthony Richardson is going to run the ball. So there is a higher floor for him, even in bad matchups. He could run the ball and get extra yards, or he could rush for a touchdown and get you extra touchdown points. So there's a world where it's okay. But at the end of the day, it's still not a great matchup, regardless. Wide receivers with the best matchup in Week 12, Ladd McConkey going up against the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens allow the most points against the wide receiver position. If he's healthy, I think he'll be a good start. Currently, he's banged up with a shoulder issue, so I'm kind of nervous. Shoulder injury. He's practicing Friday, which is good, because he didn't practice Thursday. You're going to want to monitor this one. And if it's not going to be Ladd McConkey, it's going to be this next guy. Quentin Johnston, I also think, should have a good game. The Baltimore Ravens are bad against the wide receivers, so one or both of these guys should pop off. The Rams allow the 2nd most points against the wide receiver position in the last 5 weeks. Of course, you're starting A.J. Brown. I was really doing this so that I could talk about Devonta Smith. Apparently, Devonta Smith is going to be out in Week 12, which makes me very sad. Devonta Smith being out just makes A.J. Brown even more valuable this week. I think it helps Saquon, Dallas Goedert, but it hurts Jalen Hurts. Zay Flowers also has a fantastic matchup against the Chargers. The Chargers have allowed the 4th most points against the wide receiver position in the last 5 weeks. You might be able to slide in a Rashad Bateman as a deep sleeper, like a deep sleeper. I hate to say it, but Malik Neighbors has a good matchup against my Buccaneers, assuming that he plays. At the moment, he's questionable. If he doesn't play for some reason, Wan'Dale Robinson will be a strong start. Pops up to like a wide receiver 2 and then Malik Neighbors. They're going to have to sling it. And though the Giants fans don't want to win, Tommy Cutlett sure does. Wide receivers with the worst matchups in Week 12. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have been the toughest matchup all year long. Is that going to stop you from starting them? Absolutely not. You're going to start both of them. Just know the upside's probably capped a little bit. But you know what? They some bad boys. So if I have them on my roster, there's not a world where I sit them. But in DFS, you might want to stay away from them from an upside standpoint. They could always get theirs, but which one's it going to be? Questions. But like I said, I'm firing up both of these. Just know the matchup is bad. Cortland Sutton has a bad matchup, but not for the same reasons you would think. The Raiders aren't a great defense, but they're not a good team, so you don't have to throw on them as much as other teams. You can run the ball and run the clock out, so that's really more so why he wouldn't be good. But I think you start Cortland Sutton. He's been top 10 in the last 5 games, top 5 in the last 3 games. You fire him up either way because he could always have a deep touchdown early. Next up, the 49ers wide receivers. You got Deebo Samuel and Juwan Jennings. They're going up against the Packers, which is normally a bad matchup because Jair Alexander will be on somebody and shut them down, but Jair Alexander isn't playing in this game. But neither is the guy throwing them the ball. Brock Purdy is not going to be playing in this game. And without Brock Purdy, I'm not really overly confident in any of these guys. Brandon Allen is going to be the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers in Week 12. Also, Trent Williams didn't practice on Friday. That's not a good sign. I'm a bit nervous. Running backs with great matchups in Week 12, Kareem Hunt going up against the Carolina Panthers, who allow the most points to the running back position on the year. Yeah, he should be a great start. This may be one of the last times you can start him with extreme confidence, considering the fact that Isaiah Pacheco is coming back. I think that they're going to ease Pacheco in, because why push him into a main role? So Kareem Hunt will be sharing the role. He'll be viable, just not as dominant as he normally is. But that doesn't count for this week. He should ball out. Look at him get that touchdown. Tyrone Tracy gets to go up against my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which on the season, my Buccaneers are pretty solid, but in the last 5 games, we've allowed the 3rd most points to the running back position. I think Tyrone Tracy is talented enough to do some work. I think you can fire him up. Bucs don't really scare you, unfortunately. Speaking of my Buccaneers, you can start both running backs for the Bucs as well. Rachaad White and Bucky Irving. The Giants allow the 2nd most points to the running back position in the last 5 games. I expect the Bucs to be up in this game and running out the clock. That's going to involve Rachaad White and Bucky Irving. They're a combo pair at this point, and I think both of them should eat. Lastly, the Commanders running backs, Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler. I think they both should be able to eat. Brian Robinson Jr. is going to be the lead dog in this one, but the Cowboys can't stop the run. So Washington should get up in this game, and they should be trying to run out the clock, meaning both of them should eat. Brian Robinson's going to feast. I'd be surprised if he doesn't get into the end zone. Yeah, Cowboys are defeated. They have very little fight left. This is a divisional matchup, so I'd love to see them actually fight. But if they don't, I'm not going to be super surprised. Running backs with the worst matchups in Week 12. Chuba Hubbard going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs allow the fewest points to the running back position on the year. It's just not a good situation. The team's going to be down. Now, Chuba Hubbard is good, and he's involved in the running game and the passing game. So there's a world where he has a solid game. Just know, going in, this matchup is no bueno. Bad. So you're looking for somebody to go down on the one so Chuba can run it in. Saquon Barkley has a terrible matchup. Doesn't matter. You're starting him anyway. Same thing with Kyren Williams. He has the 4th hardest matchup against the running back position for the Philadelphia Eagles. Doesn't really matter. You will start him regardless. Tony Pollard, on the other hand, you might have a better option. Going up against the Houston Texans, the Texans have been good against the running back position all year long. Tajay Spears should miss in this game due to concussions, so there's a world where Tony Pollard has a solid game. Just know it's not a good matchup. DeAndre Swift has a terrible matchup this week going up against the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings allow the 2nd fewest points to the running back position on the year. And not to mention, DeAndre Swift's banged up. He's questionable right now with a groin injury. I'm not saying he's unplayable, but this is not a good situation for him. I think his upside's capped. Tight ends with the best matchups in Week 12. Travis Kelce going up against the Carolina Panthers. They allow the 2nd most points to the tight end position on the year. He's also Travis Kelce, so you were going to play him anyways. Not going to stick here long, keeping it moving. Sam Laporta has a fantastic matchup against the Indianapolis Colts. Allow the 3rd most points to the tight end position on the year. Laporta was banged up and on the injury report, but it looks like he's come off the injury report this Friday. He was previously on there with a shoulder injury. He has not been getting a lot of work, which makes me nervous. But it's a good matchup, so hopefully he can get it done. And Hunter Henry has a good matchup against the Dolphins. Tight ends with the worst matchup in Week 12. Mark Andrews going up against the Chargers. I would normally say you can't really sit Mark Andrews, but some of you out here actually have better options. I personally would be playing Mark Andrews because I think he could always get you a touchdown. But it's not a good matchup, and I'm not excited about it. It is a nice high over-under, though, so you're saying there's a chance. Brock Bowers also has a terrible matchup going up against the Denver Broncos, but let's be real, let's be honest, ain't nobody out here benching Brock Bowers, so it's kind of irrelevant. He has a bad matchup, you're going to start him. He's probably the best tight end we have in fantasy football, which is absolutely wild to say for a rookie. We're going to have back-to-back years where rookie tight ends are going to come into the league and dominate. Last year it was Sam Laporta. This year is Brock Bowers. Are the tides changing? Are these just back-to-back phenoms? Only time will tell. But what isn't a question is if you're starting Brock Bowers. That's obviously yes. K. Dotton also has a bad matchup, but you're starting him anyways. So who are you surprised that was on this list? And who do you think I left off? Let me know down in the comments. Now I just want to talk to you, the people. Stuff's been happening in the NFL that I think is interesting, so let's dive in. Daniel Jones got released. Good for him. Sitting as a backup when you know your team's not going to play you, because if they play you, you could get hurt, and if you get hurt, they owe you money. So it's kind of a toxic environment, so I'm kind of happy you're gone. The Kansas City Chiefs took their first L this year. A lot of people freaking out about it. I'm not super concerned that they're not going to go undefeated. Honestly, I'm slightly happy that we don't have to hear that for the rest of the year. Not because I'm a Chiefs hater, but I think it's just extra pressure. They're already going for a three-peat. That's pressure enough. And that won't affect Andy Reid or Patrick Mahomes or Travis Kelce. But for the young guys that haven't really been there before, that extra pressure, I don't need people unnecessarily dropping balls. I got the Chiefs going for a three-peat. I don't need extra distractions. What else? What are some topics y'all want me to cover? Drop them down below. And they don't all have to be about football and fantasy football. If you got anything else y'all want me to talk about, if you're wondering why you're getting this video so late, it's because Kendrick Lamar just dropped a new album. I'm not gonna lie, it was fire! He was on there talking his talk. If you haven't heard it, I recommend going to listen to it, because he did his thing on there. He did his thing. Let me know down below if you're Team Drake, Team Kendrick. If I get enough replies, I'll go over my thoughts in future videos. My opinions may surprise you. We call that a tease in the biz. So put Kendrick or Drake down below. I never really covered anything on that beef, which was crazy. But yeah, so I'm trying to do more talking to you, the people. I love having Bay Nation. It's been really cool. I've been getting a lot of comments, a lot of questions. If you have any, hit me up, let me know. Start sit questions or anything else. Good luck in your matchups this week, Bay Nation. We're getting close to the playoffs. Playoffs? I'm just trying to win a game. I'm just trying to get a bye week right now. Let me know if you feel me. I'll see y'all later, Bay Nation. Peace. I am reincarnated. I'm a star, baby. Life goes on, and you know my babies pop. Wow. Woke up looking for the broccoli.